All right, this is the vocabulary quiz for scientific investigation. This is the audio version of the test. Question number 1 will be read, and then there's options for the answer options that I'll read through. They're all the same for each question because this is matching format. Just as a hint, if you need to pause it at any point or rewind it, you're free to do so. So if you need to pause it while you pick an answer, go ahead and do that. But I'm just going to read it through, and I'll let you pause it on your own time and take it at your own pace. So question number 1. It says section 1, match each of the 5 definitions with the correct vocabulary word. First definition: the part of an experiment that changes as a result of the independent variable. Conclusion: repeated trials, dependent variable, hypothesis, constant. Second definition: a testable educated guess concerning how or why a phenomenon occurs. Conclusion: repeated trials, dependent variable, hypothesis, constant. Question or definition number 3: a factor in an experiment that is kept the same for each trial. Conclusion: repeated trials, dependent variable, hypothesis, constant. Definition number 4: summarizes the outcome of the experiment, whether or not the hypothesis was supported and why. Conclusion: repeated trials, dependent variable, hypothesis, constant. Last definition: the number of trials performed during a scientific experiment with the purpose of receiving a more accurate result. Conclusion: repeated trials, dependent variable, hypothesis, or constant. Down to the second question, it's mainly the second section. Section 2, match each of the 5 definitions with the correct vocabulary word. Definition 1: the group of an experiment that is kept under normal or usual conditions is compared to the experimental group. Independent variable, experimental group, data, control group, controlled experiment. Definition number 2: information gathered during an experiment. Independent variable, experimental group, data, control group, controlled experiment. Definition number 3: the variable that is purposely changed by the experimenter, the variable I change. Independent variable, experimental group, data, control group, controlled experiment. Next definition: the group exposed to the independent variable change. Independent variable, experimental group, data, control group, controlled experiment. Last definition: an experiment designed to test a hypothesis. Independent variable, experimental group, data, control group, or controlled experiment.